Hey lovely! In this video we are going to bring Lucille Ball to life in color. If you haven't already seen the video where I sketched her, definitely check that out. I'll link it below. Let's get started. If you remember, we started with a really quick rough and dirty sketch here, and then we moved on to a different sketch, a tiny bit more cleaned up, and then we finished with the inking. And this is what we're basing all of the color on. I went ahead and I added color to this because I'm going to tell you why I made all of these color design decisions. I pulled a couple more images of Lucy and I started making a color palette. So something that you can do, you can color pick by doing that, and you can add those colors, but I don't necessarily like to do that. I really like to just try and analyze what's happening in all of these colors that I'm drawn to. So I'm seeing there's obviously the red and the pink. That's very classic I Love Lucy. You'll see that in her logo here. But she stands really nicely against these light blues and these teals and these navies. So I kind of want to simplify the color scheme into her iconic red hair, red lips, pink maybe skin tone. And then I'm going to take the navies and the light blues and flesh out everything else there. And also, this is going to be probably a pretty successful color scheme because when you're using primary colors, so red, blue, and yellow, it naturally tends to grab your eye a little bit more. So you'll see, I went with more of a pink tone with her skin. And instead of doing a totally different color for these shades, I actually just went through, let me see, I'll pull up her skin right now. And I'll just kind of redo this. I picked this color and then I went to my color wheel and I just sort of scooched down into another pink, another shade or tint of it, and was adding that in there. By doing this, it really helps us keep a minimal color palette, which is less overwhelming for the viewer to take in, and they can get sort of the broad strokes a little bit faster. I did the same thing with the hair. I took this dark orange and then I brightened it up with this lighter orange. I think it actually matches the top of her hair here, bringing all the same colors into the color scheme. I'm also going to pull up the old reference photos that I had taken of Lucy where I was figuring out the outfit that I wanted to draw her in. I really loved, let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit more. I loved this outfit. I loved the way that the lace was playing with the shape of her hair, and the same with the flowers. But in my color composition, you'll see I changed all of the colors because I'm trying again to make this very minimal color scheme. The fact that we're drawing so simple here, it means that every piece of information that is on the screen is incredibly important to convey who the character is. So I changed her top to red, the classic I Love Lucy red. I added a little bit of the yellow into these daisies, which also adds to that primary effect that we were talking about and getting into that. So you don't have to follow the pictures exactly. Look at a broad overview of what's happening, what draws your eye, why you think the character is so successful, and bring that into your own design. The last thing that I want to talk about is how colors are playing nicely with each other. This is really important with my style because I don't have outlines separating all of the colors. So I really want to make sure that each color can sit nicely on top of each other and not vibrate too much unless that's what you're going for. So let's take a look and I'll show you how we're doing that here. I'm going to just turn off Lucy. Goodbye. And we're going to be looking at these colors, and I'm just going to draw them on top of each other so that you can see the red isn't going to be vibrating too hard against the blue. Let's see if we can just start filling that in there. If I draw this blue directly on top of it, it's not too vibrating, where like it's not hurting your eyes to look at, if that makes sense. This blue was in her eyes. I knew it was just going to be on top of white. This might hurt a little bit more. You see how that hurts your eyes, seeing that blue on top of that red? They're very opposites, but I knew it wasn't going to matter because it was going to be on the whites of her eyes. What was really important was getting the pink and the red to sit nicely on top of each other. So just play around with your palette. Make sure that everything is going to work. And I mean, you can do this before you get started on your drawing. Sometimes it's just a process of trial and error, and you start making those subtle little changes. But it's something to really think about during your process. And there you have it. You have seen how color can bring such a sense of magic and life to an illustration. You can apply this method to any character. It doesn't have to be Lucy. And please share your work on Instagram. Tag me. I would love to see what you're coming up with. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. And until next time, stay sparkly, darlings.